The more I'm healing from things, the freer that I feel. Freedom is in the healing.
Freedom is in the understanding.
When you care about yourself, it shows.
We have this idea of what success is supposed to look like or what a billionaire is supposed to look like. And that's not actually what success, wealth, happiness, joy even looks like.
We've heard people say money doesn't bring you happiness, but most people don't get a chance to make enough money to find out that money doesn't bring you happiness.
Get on my motherfucking face.
Please. Push the goddamn button.
Action.
Your parents give others the opportunities to receive what you're offering internally.
Oh, okay.
Differently than they would if you were not taking care of yourself externally. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. I don't know if I fully agree, but it does make sense. I think your parents. So I do agree. I think your parents definitely does matter. I think your parents is typically a reflection of how you feel on the inside. So I think typically, it's not always, because I think there's times where if you're so focused on like a deep inner knowing and all of that stuff, right, you can realize that, all of this other stuff doesn't necessarily matter in the grand scheme of things. That doesn't necessarily mean that like your life isn't in order because you don't care about the smaller, like the outer appearance, but I just think it's a level of the outer does reflect the inside. I just don't necessarily know if it makes it. I think it just makes it more easily receptive for other people. So
That's
well,
That's what he said.
So when I say it, it's like it's not even really about them though. Like I think, like it makes it more palatable for them, but it doesn't necessarily make a difference for you. So like I think, but it actually, I agree. I'll say that. I agree. I think it can make it. It doesn't always make it more receptive because I think there's certain people where I don't care about their appearance, but I care about who they are and what they say, and their appearance doesn't matter at all to me.
So who has a terrible appearance who you care about what they say or like what they have to give? Like when I say a terrible appearance, okay, a good appearance doesn't have to mean like you got all the materialistic riches, you got everything, but you could keep yourself together minimalistically, and that's I would say that is taking care of yourself externally. So like if you don't take care of yourself at all,
yeah, I mean that. Well,
externally, can you name people who?
Well, I don't think I can name anybody who doesn't take care of themselves at all externally and is also taking care of themselves completely internally. I feel like that doesn't usually happen.
All right. So, do you have an example of somebody who you would say isn't like?
The first person I think of, and it sounds bad again, and it's not. I'm not gonna say terrible, but in terms of
not terrible, but not.
Yeah. They're not groomed whatever the case may be. Like the first person I was thinking of was Rick Rubin. I don't know why I was thinking of him, but I care about what he says because I care about how he explains things and how like his knowing, how he explains it. It's like, okay, cool. I appreciate that. I still value that. How he actually lives his life on the external, how he looks, whatever he's doing. I don't actually care. Like it wouldn't necessarily mean anything to me. Like, cause to me, the truth, if it's true, it doesn't really matter to me what the appearance of the thing that's sharing the truth is. It just matters if this thing is true. So like, you can get truth from a homeless person. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It's bad advice. I don't need to follow everything you're doing. Like I wouldn't necessarily follow your financial advice. But maybe you have some great financial advice because you're in this state. So it's like, I don't necessarily think the appearance necessarily makes all of the difference. It can, like you said, make it more digestible for other people, but it doesn't always make it more digestible. Sometimes you can ignore it and still get the point, at least in my opinion.
I think it depends on what you encounter first. it also depends on the person, but a lot of times I think that it's dependent on what you encounter first. So for most situations, outside of the homeless guy situation, but so like sometimes it's a thing where if you encounter their I guess their wisdom or what they have to say first, then a lot of times you don't care what they look like after that if you got value from what they had to say. On the other hand, sometimes there are many times where people don't listen to what other people have to say or what they have to offer or even take them seriously without if they don't like how they look in their appearance. You can, but I know that one person who mentioned that in their book was 50 Cent. When he was talking about, dress, basically, a lot of people say dress for the part that you want, like dress for the life that you want to live. When, like, if you want to be in certain rooms, if you want to be in certain areas, like you dress your best for that situation. And a lot of people, if you're not dressed to what they feel is your best, or if they feel like it's not put together, then they won't value a word that comes out of your mouth. They might not even be listening to you when you speak to them. They may not give you the time of day. And I think that's also why when you think about the idea of like a lot of billionaires and stuff, they walk around in regular clothes and you don't know that they're billionaires. I think a part of that is because well, number one, I don't have to prove anything to you, but also it's a thing where if I'm not dressed in all of this flashy stuff, then I can walk around and still be a regular person. Like, just how you be saying, like, okay, yeah, I still want to be able to go to the grocery store. Like, I still want to be able to go out with my dog and stuff like they do those things, not because they're not well put together. That's not what I'm saying. Like that, but they have like a regular, they might be dressed in just a regular attire. They might not dress up to go outside like they're about to go to a meeting if they're not going to a meeting, because that, I think it decreases the chances of people maybe, I guess, interacting in a way where it's like, oh, they must be rich. I need to get da-da-da-da. Like, let me try it. It's like, I can be a regular person type of thing. I don't know if that makes sense.
With the billionaire thing, their relationship and perspective on money is completely different. So I'm not spending money on things that's not going to make me money. Because that's how I became. You don't accidentally wake up a billionaire unless you like born into that.
Yeah, but what I meant is, I 100% agree with that. But it also works in their advantage because it's like a lot of times when people don't have that relationship with money, and they're still in a stage where I'm trying to figure this out, and but it's a billionaire right there. He got to be a billionaire. He got on all the whatever. So like your outer appearance is speaking this one thing for me. So you must have the answers that I need versus me like being able to just enjoy my day type of thing. And I think that I think that it depends on what you meet first sometimes. So if it might be a thing where maybe you're just at the grocery store and this random guy who just is like a regular person in your head is like, hey, one thing that I did, like, oh, hey, I'm just going around sharing random advice. So here's one for you. One thing that I did to become a billionaire was da 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 da. And it's like you got his wisdom first because you're not really even paying attention to him like that. And then you look over and it's like, oh, you over here with socks and sandals on and like you in the line at Walmart, like what's going on? So I think that is like a very random example. I don't know if any billionaires are doing that. I think that would actually be kind of cool. You guys should start doing that if you see this. But I think that it matters what you are met with first. Sometimes for most people, for the average person, what you are met with first depends on the interaction or if I care how you look or not, like type of thing. One person I will say, like you mentioned Rick Rubin, I was met with his wisdom before I see what he looked like. Right. So like so at that point I didn't care what he looked like because I heard, like, I was met with some valuable information first. Even like if you think of music, because it's a lot of music artists where I'm not gonna. You be listening to that music, be like, "This is good," and be like, "That's not what I expected you to look like."
Yeah.
But I don't care because I love your music.
Yeah. Oh, you remember what you gonna say?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I was just gonna say like the internal work that you do allows you to actually find yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So then once you actually find yourself, this is what I was talking about, like your external appearance. So when you actually find yourself, I'm not gonna look like everybody else, but I take care of myself. So I don't have to look like what you think wealth look like, or what it's look like, what is displayed as on like TV and stuff. But when you come across a person who actually is good inside, you can tell externally just by how they operate or exist in life.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when you care about yourself, it shows, which is pretty much what you.
Yeah.
So I think people can see it whether you're caring about, if you care about your appearance, you care about upkeeping the thing that your body just. Because I know a lot of people, great minds, their body is trash, and you would think on the one hand it's like, oh, internally they're good because like their minds are moving, they're doing everything, but on the external they don't look how they are on the internal. So it's really interesting. Even with the billionaire point, a lot of the billionaires don't look like billionaires. They don't dress the part. They're not always in suits.
But I think that they do dress the part, but they don't dress what I want to say film and cinema show, like what's displayed, like the stereotypical part. That's not that's not real life. I feel like we have this idea of what success is supposed to look like, or what a billionaire is supposed to look like, and that's not actually what success, wealth, happiness, joy even looks like. That's just my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, even how regular, like, day-to-day life for most people is displayed on TV and movies and stuff like that is not what it actually looks like.
But they clothes be ironed.
They do, and that's not what it always looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for millennials, the clothes, depending on where you're going, but, like, it was a good span of time where it was, like, the college, into high school, college years, no irons were touched. I had one, but I wasn't. Why am I ironing? If we gonna go outside and be great, okay?
No, it's hot already outside.
Right. Let the sun do the work.
Be like, oh, the shirt don't get the wrinkles and the lint off.
But I do think, going back to what we were just talking about, I think that comes into play. I think when you say how you take care of yourself shows is reflected, like you said, the people who they might be like very what you call it? I was about to say a strong mind, but I don't think that's the right word.
Or intelligent.
Intellectual. They're very intellectual, but like, maybe they don't work on their body, or maybe they only work on their body and they don't work on their mind.
Yeah.
But I think it goes back to just making sure you have a harmony, like you said, of working on all of the things. And maybe it's not a thing where you work on all of them at the exact same time, but you make time to work on each of them. Or maybe it might be a thing where, okay, I feel like mentally I got this stuff down pat. Let me go work on my body, or but I think it shows the values of that person that you're encountering, but it also, what they take care of shows up.
And I was just going to say, I just got one point. To go back to the child asking and it is given versus the adult is asking or declaring that this is what I'm doing and going to get it. The difference between the two is the journey. So like the adults have to endure the journey to get what they want. The child just...
The child has to have the courage to ask. which sometimes is the hardest part for a lot of people, just being willing to ask. Yeah.
Okay, so what if, like, during the childhood, that's literally what we're supposed to, like, that's the task, to build the courage to ask, to always ask for what you actually want. In every situation, whether it be like your parents is the practice of for when you get older and you go out into the world for you to ask what you want for what you want in the world.
Yeah, I heard I heard a parent say that's why they tell their kids no sometimes, so they get used to, so they can know that they not gonna get everything that they ask for.
Yeah, I've also heard people say, parents say that same thing. He says no. He might say no first, or just offer it, and he was like, all right, I just said no to protect myself, just so I can know that I can still say no to you. and now now that I've said that, know that, all right, cool. Let me hear what you actually really want. But I think I think that's what it is a lot for the childhood stage, and I think the adult stage is let me do the thing so I get. So the first half is you're asking, let me build up the courage to ask. Adulthood is let me build up the courage to do.
Word. So life is about courage.
Courage.
Yeah, the cowardly dog.
Yeah.
Don't be that cowardly dog.
But man. That was one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou. She was saying, out of all of the virtues, courage is the most important one because that's the only one that allows you to practice every other virtue consistently. Otherwise, you won't be able to do them. Yeah. So you have to have the courage to be able to do it. But yeah, it makes a big difference.
That's wild. So then if you didn't build up the courage when you were a child, maybe you were discouraged, which I think a lot of us are, or we get discouraged when we hear no and stuff like that. So like if we didn't master the courage of asking for what you want and clearly expressing your needs, then the work continues into adulthood, but you're also given the next assignment.
Yeah, there's no buffer time in between. You don't get a chance to pause and
you don't get left back.
Yeah, you move forward. You just not well equipped for the next year.
So that's why. Okay, so then I think that's why I like the whole baby adult phase and like stuff like that, because I'm still working on the courage to ask for what I want and to even be clear on what I want. Like I'm working on that piece, and now I'm just thrown into this adulthood. And I have to do all the things. So I'm simultaneously working on both. And I don't know what to do because ain't nobody tell me that this is what I was going to have to do.
Yeah, I had learned that I was watching a Ryan Holiday interview. He was saying, if you don't ever heal let's say something happens to you traumatic when you're 14. If you don't ever heal that part of you, you're still a 14-year-old in the world. So no matter what age you feel like you are, you're still that age. Because you never healed what was wrong, so you're a 14-year-old in a 30-year-old's body in a meeting, and it's like you don't want a 14-year-old to show up at your business meeting. You trying to make sure the merger go through.
And I was gonna say, then you could go. That I believe that changes depending on where you at. So you may be good in one area of your life, but in that business meeting, you still 14, but everywhere else you 30. But it's just that one struggle, one hurdle that you weren't able to heal or didn't know how to heal, didn't even know you needed to heal because of whatever reason. That's it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably why the politics look the way that they look in this country, because it's a bunch of 14-year-olds that's in office. I'm just saying. I ain't running for office though, but I'm just
Shakoya for president.
Absolutely not.
She can have it.
Absolutely not.
Jamani passed the torch.
Too much responsibility.
But I definitely feel that, and I don't know. It's just that the whole courage thing just kind of tripped me up a little bit. But make sure y'all out there and y'all getting the healing that y'all need. We got access to way too many resources for everybody to be sitting around unhealed and traumatized. Yeah, I said traumatized. I made it up.
Some people like it.
Some people love it. Like that's the space that they feel like they thrive in. And I just be like, listen, if you just take a moment, like take some time, do some healing, you'll see like this isn't normal. And I think that that's something that, like, as I I mean, as kids, like, we weren't told about, like, healing from trauma. As black kids, especially, like, you know, go to church, pray about it, you'll be all right. But when you really start your work of healing from certain things and even reframing certain things, fully understanding what actually happened, it can be a lot, but it's also like to start to have the weight lifted is amazing. Because as black people, we walk around, I can only speak for black people, I don't know what y'all white people be doing, I'm just saying. But we walk around with a lot of weight on us, a lot of things that maybe happened that we didn't talk about, or like situations that maybe we didn't fully know how to process, or even like how you were saying back in the day, like they didn't have time to mentally process this stuff. Like they had to be in the physical. A lot of us are still like that. So for me personally, when I started healing and actually going on my self-love journey, changing my mindset, like the more I'm healing from things, the freer that I feel. Like my body is slowly getting less tense. Like I'm starting to pay attention to how I'm breathing. Like different things had been making a true impact. And I feel like it's I don't even want to say this is one of my least favorite. I know I mentioned earlier that I think that I should have been forewarned about this, but
they didn't know they was passing down them demons.
Well, they should have found it out.
They wasn't in the spiritual realm. They was fighting cats and dogs, or dogs and water hoses.
Yeah, I wish I was forewarned about it, but it's also a thing where the freedom is in the healing. The freedom is in the healing.
And I also feel like the freedom is in the understanding, because although traumas and demons passed down, good traits was also passed down.
A lot of great traits.
I'm already equipped. Like I'm equipped to deal with your trauma because you also passed down
the tools
that I needed.
You just ain't get a chance to use them tools.
I'm unlocking. What you talking about? Batman, the belt,
the tool belt.
Yeah.
Battery. You know what I'm saying? Just throwing that stuff out. And I think it's funny because all of this stuff, healing, this kind of all ties into all of the things we've been talking about. But like healing the inside so that it's a better reflection of the outside. And it's like, ironically enough, a lot of people, they dress better on the outside so that they feel better on the inside. But if you feel better on the inside, typically when you feel good on the inside, you'll dress better on the outside. But people are doing it so that they can feel the opposite. Mm-hmm. But you still have to make sure you're taking care of both, and when you do it, when you actually do the work of healing, I think it reverberates and everybody gets a chance to see it and experience it, and you benefit from it as well. So.
Oh, you could go ahead, and then I'll just...
I was just going to say, with that piece, I definitely agree with that, and it helps you to actually slow down. Mm-hmm. So it's like understanding that everything is a process. So me healing as much as I can internally, and the seasons for everything. So I might be in a season of actually internal healing, and then now I'm in the world practicing. Like I get to actually practice all the things that I feel like I healed, and now I'm actually getting tested, and while I'm in the physical realm, I can work on my appearance. I can understand and be aware of how I'm actually presenting myself or showing up in the world, and doing the inner work, actually understanding yourself, learning who you are. Now it's like, okay, how do I want to present myself? Okay, if this is what I want to do, I have to show up in this way, or I have to do these certain things. Maybe it's just like a give and take type of thing. And yeah.
I was just going to say that we are a prime example of this, because if you go back in the podcast, if you go watch over the years, like the progression of, like, you're literally watching our healing process, and like the better we're feeling, the better like we've been presenting ourselves and different things like that. And I think that is something that we don't necessarily notice, or we don't always attribute to healing. Like looking better, we don't always attribute that to healing and understanding. Because even like you said, for me, it was like, okay, now I understand who I am, so I can dress how I want to dress. Like, I don't have to fit into whatever box. If it looks good and feels good to me, that because I understand who I am at my core now, then I can go ahead and wear it. I don't need approval for blah, 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 blah. I don't need approval from anybody. Sometimes you want other people's opinions, that's fine. But if I feel like, okay, this feels like me, then I can move forward in it.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's similar to you guys, based on what you guys were describing. There was a time period where I cared about if I look good, and then there was a time period, I just want to feel good, and now it's like, no, I feel good, so I look good. Right? Before it was one or the other. It was I don't care about. I'm not worried about how I feel. I'm worried about how I look. How do I look to people? Now then it's like I don't care about how I look to people. How do I feel? And then I'm out there and I feel like I look crazy, but I feel good. And then now it's like, okay, I feel good, so I look good, so I dress good, so I can take care of myself. And it's like having that balance, that harmony. It all really stems from doing the internal work. You can't skip. I feel like you shouldn't. It would behoove you not to skip the step of doing the inner work, because you can dress it up, but if on the inside you're not feeling how you want to feel or how you would like to feel, there's only so
much outside stuff you could do
to dress it up.
You can say no. Even if you really want to be there and you can't, you can say no. If you don't want to be there and you can say no. If you know you have a million things to do and someone else is asking you to add something else to your list, you can say no. Identify what you want and what you need so that you can move forward in your life and do the things that you love. We're here to enjoy life, and enjoying life involves saying no to the things that do not serve you. So join me on December 14th and 15th for the How to Stop Helping People workshop. We'll be talking about how to say no guilt-free, identifying and expressing your wants and your needs, and also operating out of your own self-interest. Listen, there's no need to feel guilty because the link is in the description, and we're going to get you together. And if you get a VIP ticket, you'll be able to get practice live during the workshop with me and ask your questions first. I can't wait to see you there. This year and beyond, we are putting ourselves first. And the first step is for you to get your tickets to this workshop.
I would say it's almost impossible to completely avoid the internal work, because at some point,
I've seen some people now.
At some point,
I've seen some people that skated through life and they 80-year-old, 14-year-olds. Well, they have never made it past that, my man.
At some point, I feel like it comes to great example. What you said was a great example.
Oh, right.
I feel like it should, at some point, you should get to a point where it's like it has to be more than this. Like, 'cause it's like Will Smith was talking about, I bought everything that I could imagine that I could ever want. I did everything. I've been everywhere that I would ever want to go. Now what? The only other place is death or internal.
Well, I think that a lot of people don't make it to that point. Because of a lot of the programming, the systems, like we were talking about before, that a lot of the processes as an adult don't necessarily make sense. So if you're just operating within those processes and not looking at it as like, okay, this can be improved, but you're looking at it like, well, this is how it's always been done, then a lot of times you're operating, because at adulthood in itself, it's easy to fall into the trap of, okay, just work, go out, sleep. Like, I work to go on vacation, or I work to da-da-da-da, or blah, 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 and then losing track of the things that you enjoy. So then you're not buying the things that you want to buy. You're not experiencing the things that you always hoped and dreamed of experiencing, because you're just working. Because I'm working to make enough money to pay my bills, or I'm working just enough so that I can put food on the table, or I'm working because this is what I was told that adults do, or this is all that I've seen adults do, right? So then you're not thinking like, oh well, what do I want to experience, and like what did I dream of as a kid? And so because of that, you don't get to the point of, well, I experienced all the things that I wanted to experience. I enjoyed these things, and it's only death, or I don't remember what else you said, but
internal work.
Oh, internal work. And then also, some people don't get there until they're in their like 70s, 80s. So then at that point, it's like, well, you know, I am who I am. I ain't trying internal work. Like, I ain't trying to do that. Yeah. So it's just like being, I guess when we talk about like the harmony or the balance of working on all of the things, it affords you the opportunity to experience life in a way that you've always dreamt of, or to move toward the things that you dreamt about, or, you know, just being happy in life. And I think that a lot of people haven't experienced that, number one, because they couldn't figure out how to do that. Some people just be avoiding the inner work. And that's like a key to actually moving forward. And then some people just, like a lot of people just don't know. Like it's just a thing where they just don't know. And I think it's wild, but it's also like it makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to piggyback off that, I don't know if I saw it or I just thought of it now as you were talking, but they were saying, I might have saw it online. They were saying that most people don't get the opportunity to be able to say they got everything they wanted. Like everybody says, oh, money doesn't bring you happiness, but a lot of people say money doesn't bring you happiness, but everybody wants the opportunity to find out if it actually does or not.
I think it does.
And you think money brings you happiness? Mm-hmm. And this is a whole another. I don't think money brings you happiness at all, personally. But I think money is typically helps you display your can help you display your happiness and experience more happiness. But I don't think it brings you happiness. But that's
another
different
part.
thing. Yeah. But I was gonna say, I think most people, they want to, like, we've heard people say money doesn't bring you happiness, but most people don't get a chance to make enough money to find out that money doesn't bring you happiness. Most people don't ever get there. So it's like, it sounds good, but it's like, I would love to have money to find out that money didn't bring me happiness, but I never made $300 million to find out that $300 million didn't make me any more happy. So
I think we should go into that topic, and then we could just cut it into 3, possibly, if we got time.
I mean,
go ahead, kid. What you got? What you got to say?
I feel as though money does bring you happiness. I'm gonna start by quoting the great KRS-One. He said, "Money brings you happiness, but it doesn't bring you joy. Happiness is temporary, joy is everlasting." He said, "Happiness is temporary, joy is everlasting."
Yeah, everlasting.
That's how he talk.
Everlasting, definitely sounded like him.
It's everlasting. Yeah.
But I definitely agree with that, just because from personal experience, when I do have money, I'm a lot happier, because I'm not thinking about the things that I'm not thinking about stuff that's not bringing me joy or happiness. Like it affords me the opportunity to do different things, do things that I like, the things that I actually want to do.
Okay. For me, I would say, if I'm playing devil's advocate, I think there's a disconnect. I don't think the money isn't what made you happy, right? Because the money is just a tool for you to be able to do the things, right, that you wanted to do. If there wasn't money and you were still able to do the things that you were able to do, you wouldn't say money made you happy. It would be the ability to be able to do the things that you want to do. So it's not necessarily the money, it's the ability, the agency that you always talk about, to do the things that you want to do that actually makes you happy, at least in my opinion.
But currently, in the society, money brings a form of agency.
Yeah.
So if I have a certain amount of money, I can buy whatever I want or purchase whatever I want, which will in turn allow me to be happy.
So, and this is my last point. You can say what you want to say. Please don't forget. I was gonna say, to me, money is like the vehicle for wherever you're trying to get to. Right? The car didn't make you happy. It's the ability to go from point A to point B is what made you happy. Whether or not you got there in a car or in a plane or on a bike, it didn't really necessarily matter. Like, we appreciate the fact that this is the vehicle that we got there, but the money itself isn't what made you happy. It's the ability to do the thing that you wanted to do. That's just me. I understand that money is the tool that we use, but I'm not gonna say that the tool made me happy. It's my ability to use the tool. It's just a hammer. I love this hammer. I appreciate the hammer for allowing me to be able to hammer some stuff. That's the reason why I love it, not necessarily because this thing is the thing that's bringing me happiness. That's just me. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you kind of just took some of my stuff,
I'm
but I was gonna say I don't feel that money brings happiness. I feel like it is a tool to bring happiness, just because, like he said, I feel like I'm repeating him. Like, it can afford you the time and the freedom to, do what you want to do. But I also think that because of the fact that there are other tools that can be used to bring about happiness is why I feel like money, it's not, I guess that don't really matter. He took my point.
My bad.
It was so good. It was well thought out at first.
My bad.
But yeah, I feel like it is a tool. I feel like it's the tool of choice here. But I don't think that it's like the one thing that's just gonna bring the happiness to you. Because there's a lot of things that come with money, depending on how you get it and all of that stuff. So like, I just feel like it doesn't bring happiness. It brings the things that will in turn bring you happiness. Like,
so doesn't that, aren't, in a way, y'all saying money brings you happiness? So if we exchange the word money for energy, right? Actually, if we exchange the word money for, let's see, fish, right?
Yeah.
So fish will bring happiness. So like if I trade you some fish, like, okay, back in the day, I believe in Asia, it was rice.
Mm-hmm.
Rice was like, money is just a
tool.
It's just a money changes during certain times. Like, depending on what time period it is, money is not, it's not $1.
Yeah.
It may be rice, it may be art, it may be hair. I don't know. But
it sounds like you're talking about wealth, just in general, like wealth being you having something that somebody else wants. That's what it sounds like. So like, if we're in a desert and I have water, I'm wealthy. That's my form of money currency because I have water. You don't have water.
Yeah. So if I have the thing that affords me the agency or the luxury to get what I want, I feel like that brings happiness. And it is temporary, because once I get what I want, I'll have to give some more water in order to get some more of what I want.
So I think my perspective is that yes, it helps to bring the thing that you're looking for, but I think in the end the agency is what's making you happy. So like, if at any point that so let's say that you did have the water, but the water doesn't bring you agency, or for some reason you can't figure out how to get the thing that you want, the agency, the time, with the money or the water that you have, that water is not going to bring you happiness, because you just like, well, I got this and I can't even do nothing with it. That's why I say money doesn't bring you happiness, because it's a lot of times where people do have a lot of money and they still can't get the thing that they want, because the thing that they want might be the love from somebody. The thing that they want might be in a completely different country. The thing that they want might be a person who passed away, and they have no way of getting that one thing that they want, and they are like miserable. So I think that the thing that you're after is which is the agency or whatever thing that you want. That's what will bring you the happiness, and it's staying in your life or you experiencing it will bring you whatever joy you're searching for. But the money itself is just like a tool to get you to what would make you happy.
So I feel like with money being a tool, if you use money, right, it's bringing you happiness. Because you're using this money to gain some sort of happiness.
That's not the right, but it's a false equip. Like the money isn't bringing you happiness. It's just giving you more opportunities for you to find ways to experience happiness. But that's not the thing that's actually like. It's not literally bringing you happiness. You having more money and you wanting to speak to somebody who's not here anymore doesn't help you. It doesn't. The money's not gonna make you more happy. It's just gonna. It gives you access to do other things.
It's like happy, like we stick it on the temporary.
Happiness is temporary. Yeah.
It's like I have money so I can buy something that can temporarily make me happy. Not like I may not be joyful or in the best spirits, but I can experience something that makes me happy.
So I think that the disconnect here is that you are literally talking about money being the magnet of getting to, like, bringing you what you want to be happy, right? Mm-hmm. And what we're talking about is that money is the tool, but it can't always bring you happiness.
Yeah, like money isn't
it's
actually
not guaranteed.
Yeah, it's more so. Yeah, money isn't actually. Yeah, the money isn't the thing that's bringing you happiness. The thing that's bringing you the happiness is the feeling of being able to do X, Y, and Z. Is really what I'm saying. So it's not the like if you were able to do it without the money, then the money isn't what's bringing you happiness. Is what I'm saying.
So if I want a car, right,
and you were able to get it with potatoes.
Potatoes will be the form of money. But like, if I want a car and I get the car, I'm gonna be happy in that moment. So if we go back to the kid asking and it is given, the adult is asking. All right, hold on. Let me see. I was about to. It was good. The kid asked the adult. Go ahead. I'll be back.
No, you lost it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I was going to say, there might be a scenario where you want a car and you don't have to pay for it to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got the car. Would you be any less happy?
Maybe.
Would y'all be any less happy?
And this is the point where I was saying before, where it's like, we know that money does, we know on an intellectual level, money doesn't bring us happiness, but everybody wants to go to find out for themselves. So like, you may know deep down, like, it's not going to bring me happiness. But
it's not.
I can use it.
Yeah, but a part of you is like, I still want to go to experience it, because until I experience it, I don't actually know.
It's not going to bring me everlasting happiness, but it's like it's a moment thing. So like in this moment, money will bring me happiness because I'm able to experience this. I'm able to, like, even going on trips. Yeah. If you have the money to go on a trip that you always wanted to go on, that's going to bring you happiness. Like that, like you're happy in that moment.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that money is the end all be all, but I do believe that money does buy you happiness. It's not going to be like, I got money, I'm happy for the rest of my life. It's like, I have money, I can do what I want. I can do things to make me. I don't feel like cooking today. This feel good not to cook. This is the best burger I had in years because I ain't had to cook it.
That'd be happening.
And that is, and I'm not disagreeing with that point. What I'm saying is the thing that you're actually saying when you're like, oh, I have the money to pay for this experience. The experience is actually what's bringing you the happiness. It's just the fact that you have the money to pay for it. But the fact that if you didn't have the money and you can still get the experience is what you're actually after. So that's why I was saying it's not actually the money that's making you happy. I think the money can make you feel better, I think that's what we should probably be saying is money definitely makes a lot of things feel better, but it's not going to ultimately make you happy because the thing you're looking for is the experience or being able to, I don't want to make this burger. I would rather have somebody else make this burger. It's like if you can pay somebody to make the burger and the money will do that, or you can just if you just asking and you get the same. Regardless, it's the experience of I don't want to make this burger. I asked somebody else to make this burger. Now they're making this burger. That made me happy. Not the fact that I paid him to make the burger or I asked him to make the burger. If that makes.
But
sense.
in the society, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. In the society, in the system that we reside in, money is the conduit to. A lot of times, money is the conduit to whatever it is that we're searching for. Mm-hmm. So,
I agree with that.
So money is like
it's the vehicle
purchasing the experience or whatever. So, money does buy you happiness because it's buying you the experience.
I think what we were saying earlier of it can bring you to the experience.
I thought we said, or I said, buys you happiness.
Yeah.
But you can finish.
Maybe not. I'm not sure.
We won't see.
It's almost like it's because the way you're saying it, it's like A equals B or A plus B equals C. So therefore B, like there's a disconnect between what. That's why I don't know how to necessarily frame it so that
So this is what I was gonna say about the kid and the parent and what they want. The kid plus the parent equals what they want. The adult plus the money equals what they want in this society.
I also feel like it could also be the adult plus the network of people that they have could equal what was the equal what they want. Like I don't think that it's always money. I think that in the society that we live in, 9 times out of 10 it is money. But I think that's also because we don't be getting creative.
Yeah, it's almost like in my head I'm thinking like, all right, if it was A plus B equals C, right? So you're saying like A is you, B is the money, C is the thing you want. You're saying if you don't have B, you can't get C. So B, right? So you're saying, all right, I can take away A, B equals C, and that's not the right math. That's why I'm saying it's not necessarily the.
Money isn't the only way to find happiness, but it does buy you happiness. So if you have money, you can buy happiness, and it's.
I don't agree with that either. I don't think you can. I think you can buy experiences or you can buy things that make you feel better, but the money. Happiness is a feeling, right?
Feelings are temporary. Yeah. So in one moment you're going to be happy, in one moment you're not. But in this current moment, I use this money to get something that I knew was going to make me happy.
It's the conduit.
Yeah, it's the conduit. Yeah, I'm just not saying that equals that. Like, I'm not saying that you can definitely buy it because that's not always the case. Like certain things. You can't necessarily buy happiness because happiness is a feeling, and if you can get the feeling without the money, then you don't necessarily need the money. Like the money is just a vehicle for you to get there. If you can make the music without the piano, then the music isn't in the piano. If that makes sense.
But that doesn't eliminate the fact that money buys happiness. It's not the only way to experience happiness, but if you have money, you can purchase happiness. You can purchase things and experiences that make you happy, which means you're buying happiness.
I think that the real thing is that you can't actually buy emotions.
Yeah, that's really what I'm.
I think that's the real conversation here. Yeah. Is that you can't buy actual emotions. Because if people could walk into a store and just purchase a smile, like happiness, or let me purchase some sadness quick.
That's what
you're doing. I'm going somewhere. Listen. I'm literally talking about we in the grocery store. We got milk over here. We got butter, eggs over here, and right in the middle we got emotions. you can't physically go into a store and purchase a feeling. It's not like an emoji or anything like that. Like, it's literally a situation where you can't buy a feeling.
Yeah.
I think that's what the real conversation is. You can buy something that gets you to
The feeling.
but you can't literally buy happiness. It's something that, when we talked about that internal work, that's something that's inside of you that you can purchase an experience, or you can purchase a thing that brings that feeling out of you. But you can't physically, like, if you're sad, just be like, you know what, I've been sad for a minute. Let me go over to 7-Eleven and give me some happiness right quick.
Okay.
That's not how that works.
Why do people emotionally eat? Like, so if you're stressed,
That don't change your level of stress.
It makes you feel better temporarily.
It makes you feel better, but the eating brings out an emotion that is inside of you.
Yeah.
You're still not purchasing whatever comfort that is.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. It's a temporary feeling. You can buy temporary feelings. To a degree, you're saying it's a temporary feeling. I can buy this thing that makes me temporarily feel good. That's what you're saying. Okay, cool. I think what we're saying is what you're buying isn't the temporary feeling. You're buying a pathway to it. So that's one pathway. You didn't actually buy the thing, because that pathway doesn't even guarantee you're gonna get the thing that you're looking for.
Because I used to emotionally eat, and it wasn't. I was feeling bloated and sick afterward. It wasn't no joy. In the moment, I was still sad. I was sad.
Yeah. So
I was sad eating. You ever cried and ate ice cream?
that's a messy mess right there.
Exactly. I was still sad, and I felt bloated, and I was like, I shouldn't have ate this whole thing, but it was good though. Yeah. Like, it didn't guarantee me happiness.
Yeah, that's the point. I think it's like
dairy. The vegan ice cream.
No, same thing. Same thing.
Sugar free.
No.
Vegan, gluten free ice cream.
Why would I get sugar free?
She might as well just drink water.
Right? Like what?
Just drink some water, but. Yeah, it's not that it can't enhance the feeling. It's not that it's not like a pathway to the feeling, but just because you buy, it's like, if I'm thinking about Monopoly, if like just because you buy the block doesn't necessarily mean like that block is gonna get you to the actual place that you're looking for. Like, it's like the money isn't going to get you there. It's not like you're just giving the money and this gets you it's guaranteed to get you the experience. The money can get you there. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but the money isn't what's actually buying you happiness. Like, you can be happy without money, and you can be unhappy with money. Like, you can really, so it's like the money doesn't necessarily buy you the happiness. The happiness is always internal.
I think the money helps you have more access to more paths to get to the happiness.
And that's what I was saying. It's more opportunities to get to the experience that you're talking about. The experience of going on vacation with my family. The experience of eating ice cream or having a chef. Like, you're buying the experience, and the experience is what is what's bringing you the happiness. The money just gives you more options.
The money brought you the experience to bring you happiness.
The money brought you, not even necessarily. The money brought you. It gave you more opportunities to get to the experience. It doesn't always necessarily, because you can get the experience without the money. So like, the money doesn't always buy you the experience. There's times where it can, but it doesn't. It just gives you more, like, the experience is here. The money is like, maybe I bought a new road. I bought a new road so I can possibly get there. New roads so I can possibly get there. New road. And it's like, you're just buying new roads so that you can possibly get here. But the money didn't buy you the experience, because you can get what happened?
The money didn't buy you the thing.
The thing, but my bad.
The emotion.
Yeah, the emotion, yeah. Because the emotion is coming from you having the experience. So if you don't have the experience, you don't have the happiness. Therefore, the money isn't buying you the happiness.
If I use this money to pay for something to afford me this experience, what is the money doing?
It bought you the experience to have the feeling.
Yeah.
So I just bought happiness.
You skipping. You skipping. Tell us what y'all think in the comments. We would love to hear your thoughts. Let us know, do you think that money buys happiness? and how, just let us know. If you made it this far in the episode, definitely comment a blue heart. Welcome to the Grae Area. I'm Shakoya D.
Batman Breezington.
It's your boy, Damani.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And let us know what y'all think.
You say what? Know yourself. Know your worth. Jukebox, hit me with another jam. Get on my face. Get on my motherfucking face. Please. Push the goddamn button.